I have to correct myself. So the other day I covered the story on Thalia Graves, one of Diddy's victims, coming out. And basically the story was that she offered to pay her ex-boyfriend $3 million in order to support her version of what happened with Diddy. So I have to correct myself. So basically there has been more tea. So Thalia Graves came out and gave her story. She's being represented by Gloria Allred. Well, shots out to make it make sense. Last night, he revealed the true story behind this. So first of all, I talked about how, I didn't believe her story and that it is a responsibility of attorneys to make sure all of the facts line up. Her lawyer did so. Gloria Allred did so. This appears to be a situation where Diddy has simply paid off the ex-boyfriend to no longer support. So y'all, this was a lot. I'm going to play some clips from the show that Make It Make Sense did last night. I'm going to play some clips, but I encourage you guys, watch the full show. Gist of it is this. She had a boyfriend who worked for Diddy. When she was dating him, Diddy and the bodyguard assaulted her. When they did so, there was a video of it. They showed the video around. And then they told her, do not say anything because it's going to impact your boyfriend's job. In fact, the way that they got this young lady alone is they told her to take a ride with them. They said, we want you to come. We want to talk to you in private regarding your boyfriend's job. Now, mind you, at the time of this is how vulnerable she was. She was a single mom going through a divorce. So she had a young child. She was going through a divorce from her husband. She has this boyfriend who's this music industry executive. And let me tell you, back in the early 2000s, music industry executives, I was living in New York in those days. When you were living in New York back then, like they had money. Okay, they had money. They would come to me and be like, oh, it's money. Like not me, because I was the last student and I didn't think like that. But my homegirls that worked at Sue's Rendezvous, the little titty park, that was exactly what they thought. Now, the gist of it is Diddy and the bodyguard got her in the car, said, we need to talk to you about your boyfriend. She does so. They take her to another location and they assault her. I'm going to let Make It Make Sense break down. But then following that, here's the story that TMZ posts out. They said her ex-boyfriend claims that her name is Thalia, offered him a bribe of $3 million if you back my story. Now I'm going to go to the bottom of this and I'm going to tell you. So when I covered the story the other day, and then this is the statement that made me think twice, like, maybe she's not lying. It says, as you'll recall, Gloria and Graves held a news conference after the filing, which was very emotional. Thalia sobbed and talked about the physical and mental trauma. Since the lawsuit was filed, Diddy's former security head said he never met her and was not working for Diddy at the time. But hold on, Gloria's statement. Gloria Allred tells TMZ after these allegations about the $3 million, says it's very common that rich, powerful men and their supporters attempt to discredit, shame, and humiliate accusers who have the courage to come forward. The complaint speaks for itself. Our client is looking forward to her day in court. What that says is, I'm not surprised at these antics. I've seen the evidence. And this evidence will stand up in court. Now, when I remember reading that the other day, and I was like, it sounds to me like Gloria's done her due diligence, but the rest of the story. So the gist of it is this. There's way more text messages. So Diddy's team, and I'm saying Diddy's team because I believe it was Diddy's team. So remember, Diddy's team in the hearing today was complaining that there was leaks to the media. And that they believe the Cassie video was obtained by Homeland Security and then leaked to the media. Well, first of all, you shouldn't have did it, of course. But that was always my hypothesis because the Homeland Security did the raid, collected all the videos, and then the video made it to CNN of Cassie. Okay. And when that happened, it made me think that's what you get for saving that tape. And what type of sick, twisted bastard would save a tape like that? Like, you would think you would delete it forever, but there must be something about that he could use to either, extort other people that were involved. Like, oh, this happened and you helped me hide this tape. There's a reason for him withholding it. So here this statement from Gloria Allred, it implies to me that she knew that they do these shenanigans and she wasn't moved by it. So going over, I'm going to play a clip from Make It Make Sense. Now, here's what they're starting with. So what this is a text message exchange between the same girl, Thalia.
Here's a picture of Big Joe. It reads, "That's the bastard. I contacted."
This is between Thalia and her ex-boyfriend. So the ex-boyfriend in the TMZ article, he's implying she offered him $3 million. She claimed that, I'm going to give you $3 million if you back my story, was the claim. And TMZ further stated, here we are, it states, Thalia Graves is suing Diddy and his head of security, Joseph Sherman, for allegedly R-ing her back in 2001. In the suit, she says she was dating one of Diddy's employees, that's the ex-boyfriend we're going to talk about, who was shown a video of the alleged incident of the assault. Okay. However, it says TMZ has seen a 2023 text exchange between Thalia and the man who was her boyfriend. And in it, she reveals she's planning to sue Diddy, quote, because he's the one that has the money. It also appears she offers to give the boyfriend $3 million if he agrees to back her version of the alleged events. After asking him to attest that he's seen the alleged video of the incident, the actual text reads, "What do you need? $3 million." It states, "We've actually spoken to the ex who confirmed the validity of the text messages and told us he interpreted it as an attempted bribe. After receiving the text, he says he blocked her phone number and also blocked her on social media." So we're going to read all of the text and context. So what happened is Diddy's legal team, who is claiming, oh, there's too many leaks, leaked to TMZ only the portion they wanted them to see. We are going to look at all of it, and I'm going to ask you, what do you think? Here we are. So it starts out.
Actually reached out to her and told her that there is a tape.
And I'm going to break this down legally. So here's the key part that's different than what the TMZ article says is. The reason she knew there was a tape is because her ex-boyfriend told her it existed. Now, when this happened, she dated the guy. This happened to her. She was then assaulted. He then found out. He actually had to scoop her up and help her up after this happened, but encouraged her to not file anything with the police or anything because it would impact his job. What a weak man. What a weak man.
Here's a picture of Big Joe. It reads, "That's the bastard. I contacted," and I redacted names. The names are not important, but trust me, I have all the names. "I contacted blank. Hopefully he has a lawyer." Okay, cool. And yes, that's Big Joe. I know. So then Thalia says to her ex-boyfriend, "Email me a synopsis of the video you have seen." Does that sound like?
Yep. Email me a synopsis of the video you've seen. Says he's seen it. And therefore, she's telling him, let me know what you saw.
Somebody who knew about it before. This is the video that you said you've seen. This is before any money was involved. So this is the timeline. They reached out to her, allegedly, told.
So Diddy, her ex-boyfriend who worked for Diddy, saw a video. They were passing around a video of Diddy and Big Joe, his security guard, assaulting her when she was too drunk and everything else to consent.
Told her, "You got this ball moving." I don't know if it was a crisis of conscience or you knew that there were things in your past that would come out. We're hearing this a lot. People are now signing these agreements to make sure that they are not prosecuted. Everybody wants the big fish. And in this situation, it's Puffy. And whoever Puffy's actual, what do you want to call them? Whoever jumped Puffy in. But earlier in that morning, the victim is asking, "Send me a synopsis of the video that you saw." But that's not what TMZ wants you to know. Are y'all following this?
Yes, we're following.
Are you following it?
Yes. Okay.
Okay. So we move on. So now it's just normal conversation. she's asking, what is it called? Hold on, let me take this off.
Watch this part.
She's asking, what is it called? It said, he responds, the Adult Survivors Act. Okay. Thinking I'm going to file a claim.
She says, what is it called? Meaning he's told her, like, hey, I want to let you know there's this video out here. You can make a claim now if you want. But here's the catch. I looked at that date, the 27th. The statute of limitations had run. It was either that day or the next day. So while if we want to give this man some credit, minuscule. He tells her, hey, I saw a video of your attack that happened back in 2001, but he intentionally tells her after the statute of limitations has passed. I want you to keep that in mind as we think about whether or not we want to believe his claim that she's trying to pay him off for $3 million. Here's why. Cassie's lawsuit came out around November 16th to the 18th. Therefore, that was 10 days earlier. If he really wanted to give her the opportunity to get justice, why didn't he tell her when that first came out? Because everybody was talking about that. That would have actually given her time within the statute of limitations to get justice, to call some lawyers. Baby, we would have sped that bad boy up. We would have sped it up. We would have got it on file by the end of that deadline. But him, it says at the top of this, November 27th, telling her about this, it sounds like he wanted to get it off of his chest. And you're going to see more facts, more text messages later. He wanted to get it off of his chest, but not necessarily allow her to get justice.
Especially if that damn tape is in rotation. Does Diddy live in New York or in New Jersey? Boyfriend says, I have no idea where he lives. Guess attorneys will have to find out. Boyfriend responds, I'm sure that's not hard to find out.
Ex-boyfriend. Remember, this is ex.
Do you have a good attorney there? He responds, not in contact with any.
Not helping her find a lawyer.
You're going to have to be my backbone again and testify about the video that Joe was showing everyone in the office. That is like the worst thing they could do to a woman. Record her incapacitated and being R-word and showed it to everybody.
That statement to me makes me believe her. Because note, she's summarizing what happened to her and he doesn't ever say, no, that didn't happen, or no. He's not saying any of that.
Okay. Are y'all following this? Are you following this? Absolutely not. My place here is not to in any way expose my sources.
Yes,
so I will
plenty
not
of
use
people have said they saw that.
Sorry,
Gina, that
Lloyd.
is correct. Okay,
if you're new to the channel, and I get it, but if you're not new to the channel,
footage,
you know that
assaulting situations with others. This is an issue.
Dahlia is the person that we're talking about. Her boyfriend is the other party that we're talking about.
Yep.
Okay, you want me to use fake names? We'll say.
So we're going to use fake names.
Let me see what name was used in the court.
Ricardo, I think, is the name that they give to the boyfriend, just so we can keep it straight.
We'll just say the assailant.
Watch this.
But anyway, right now we're at a space where she's asking him to be her backbone and testify for her. Does not sound like somebody who is. The question is, did he go to the? It sounds like somebody who has already spoken to this person and they told them what they knew and that a tape did exist. The
question is, did he go to the party too, or just found out she was assaulted after the tape came out? So apparently the tape was being passed around the office. People around the office were looking at it.
Ricardo says, I'm willing to testify if you need me as to what I saw on the video and can talk to your lawyer once you file. But I don't want to email anything as I don't want to be the focus of the case. Really don't want that hitting the media with my name attached to it.
There we go. So she asks him, can you send me a summary of what you saw? And he's saying, I'm willing to testify, but I don't want to write it. Let me tell you what really happened from a lawyer's perspective. Here's what happened. She contacted a lawyer. A lawyer was like, wow, I'm so sorry this happened to you. This sounds really interesting. I'm very interested in the case, but I'm going to need you to bring me some concrete proof. If you can get me a text message, something from friends, from whomever, to corroborate what you're telling me, I'll take your case. This is what we do. This is how we say it. So then she goes out and she reaches out to those friends to help corroborate her case and be able to get a lawyer to take it. That is distinctly different from trying to pay off a witness. Keep watching. Hit that like, y'all.
I'll read that again. I'm willing to testify if you need me as to what I saw on the video and can talk to your lawyer once you file, but don't want to email anything as I don't want to be the focus of the case. Really don't want that hitting the media with the name attached to it. So I know Ricardo's real name, or whatever you guys want to call them, Dahlia's ex-boyfriend. I know this man's real name. I'm choosing not to say his real name because it will come out in the court case, but I don't know if he willingly went over to the Diddy side or if he was forced to. So out of respect, I'm not saying his name. It really doesn't matter because this is just the tip of the iceberg. The rest of this shit gets even crazier. It involves a whole nother case. What's up, Jolene? I see you in the chat. Guys, we got over 3,600 in the chat. Definitely hit that like.
So y'all, Karen Mitchell says, so he didn't want to lose his job, but he was okay with his girlfriend being assaulted. Exactly. See, that's how Diddy operates, right? He shows you. So I could even see Diddy doing that initially from the perspective of, I'm going to take your girl. And then I'm going to make a video of me taking your girl. And now I own you. Now, interestingly, this ex-boyfriend to this day is still in the music industry and is still someone significant in that industry. In other words, he did it on her back, literally, because he said, don't go to the police. It's going to mess up my relationship. But there's text message. Hold on. Let's keep listening and watching. So there's a text message that refers to how the ex-boyfriend ultimately responded. Here we go. There we go. Whoop.
Joe's last name. They say, no idea, in the middle of some stuff. Call me. So she says, call me when you can. I chose to redact this name. Wants to go after Puffy the most because he's the one that has the money. I guess Joe.
So this is this text message line of questioning that got her in trouble. She says, I want to go after Puffy the most. It's as in Puffy versus Joe, the security guard, because he has the money the most.
Joe works for MCA Productions or something, so that's secondary. So I guess I'm not on the video they have, but it's the same MO as the other girls. So I guess once you tell the attorney you've seen the video, then other witnesses will also come and he will file the case.
See? Exactly. So there you go. That is the lawyer. He will file the case. That's her basically saying, my lawyer said he'll take the case, but I need to confirm you're willing to be a witness. That's what we do all the time. That is what we do all the time. We say, hey, your case sounds great, but I need you to bring me some concrete people that will be willing to testify on your behalf.
This reads to me like somebody's ex-boyfriend reaches out, lets them know of a tape of my assault. Now my wheels are turning because I just saw Cassie filed her case and look at what happened there. I need this tape.
Yeah,
I feel like, in my opinion, that she put too much faith in her boyfriend, because if you remember the actual complaint, let's go to the actual complaint. The boyfriend told her not to report it. Yeah,
the boyfriend did tell her not to report it. So we're gonna skip up. I want to show you. Here we go. Now these text messages, these are from. Hold on. These text messages I'm skipping to, and then we're gonna bring it all together. These text messages are from two former executives of Bad Boy who know all these men. Stated if we heard their names, we know exactly who they are. Okay. These are high ups, and they're talking about remembering what happened to Thalia Graves, this victim.
With Bad Boy household names. My sis, I know you. Yes. She called me. The lady in the red was, and they're saying this man's
talking
name,
about Thalia.
Ricardo's name. The lady in the red was Ricardo's girlfriend.
So we're calling him.
I remember the day it happened. Joe was. And then I redacted the name. Then Ricardo cried at the airport. Oh,
wait, you heard that? The boyfriend cried at the airport. In other words, he realized what he allowed his girlfriend to be subjected to, encouraged her to not tell the police, not do anything to save his career. And of course, where are they now? Not together.
He can always call me
at the airport.
He is so scared. They didn't name them, did they? She will have to, because he told her about the tape on Thanksgiving. I just told you guys that Ricardo told the victim about the tape. It was Ricardo who lit this match.
If it was not for the boyfriend who's now claiming this $3 million situation, telling her the tape existed, she would not have been able to file. And that's how come she filed, but she filed late because she didn't understand that this tape even existed. All right, going on.
But Joe, I remember the date. We was about to go on tour or was coming in from someplace. It was around and they listed the tour. I didn't want to let you know who this person is, so I redacted it. I remember the girl had on a burgundy or red dress that was like a sweater, and Joe kept effing with her. The woman says, "How do you remember all that?" Yeah, I remember that day. I remember Joe was effing with Ricardo bad. The girl told me Ricardo wasn't there. Said Diddy and Joe picked her up from her house and told her they needed to talk to her about Ricardo because his job was at risk in Joe's burgundy truck. But Joe been doing this stuff for years. I just can't believe Puff. Yeah, I remember the boys talking about it. I should try to reach out and help the girl. Did you reach back out to the girl? I just sent her a message.
There we go. So that's the gist. So everybody was talking about this girl being attacked and all of this. So I say that to say the little clip that we saw about the 3 million was in reference to her ex-boyfriend saying, I don't want to be involved. I don't want to do an email. I don't want to do those things. It was not, I want to give you $3 million to say something you had not already said, to agree that you've seen something you already told me you saw. I'm merely saying, if you support my side, I can come to, and you can do that. Under the law, you can absolutely do that. You can tell a friend. If you think you have a star witness, and let's say they live in Wisconsin, and they're like, girl, I'm not finna come to Houston for your court, and you say, if you come, I'll give you $1,000. You're allowed to do that. Is it discoverable? Absolutely. If someone were asking to understand, did anybody on the other side offer you any money to be there, you can acknowledge that. But let's fast forward to the other part that was real sick. So there's a Jane Doe lawsuit. And in that Jane Doe lawsuit, when I was speaking to Mims about this, I said, wait a minute. You know, in that lawsuit, so Mims was referencing the fact this same ex-boyfriend is assailant number 3 in the Jane Doe lawsuit. In that Jane Doe lawsuit, where she's a minor, she is an 11th grader in Detroit who was at a nightclub. Don't ask me why this 11th grader is a nightclub, but she's at a nightclub. And while at the nightclub, meets Diddy and Harvey Pierre, and they fly her to New York and then assault her. She sees Harvey do some crack in the bathroom, because there's some crackhead shit. Do some crack in the bathroom and other things. And ultimately, and there was the two guys. It was Harvey, it was Diddy, and it was this assailant number 3. Now, when I originally read Jane Doe's lawsuit and it called it assailant number 3, I'd never seen anything like that before. I was telling Mims, I was like, because what happens is you either name the person or you call them John Doe, but you only use John Doe when you don't know someone's name. Here, though, they knew the person's name, and in a footnote, they said, at this point, we're not naming assailant number 3, but if discovery, basically, if the case progresses, we will name them at a later date. Baby, what that says is this person is cooperating, or that this person is so famous and we think this person has money and would be willing to settle with us if we keep them confidential. So we're going to negotiate with them in confidentiality for him to give us something of value, whether it is money or whether it is giving us tapes or flipping on the other two effectively by not naming him, because they either have to put his real name in. They cannot just do John Doe. You cannot use John Doe when you actually know who the person is. They saved this guy's butt. So that also makes me think at one point he was being helpful, and at some point he has flipped. Okay. So the gist of the true situation with Thalia Graves and the $3 million is that it appears her boyfriend is the one who told her from the beginning this tape existed, that is your proof that this happened. But he told her as the statute of limitations was expiring on purpose, because he didn't actually want her to get justice. He just wanted her to know this existed. Okay. So then once she knew it existed, she was like, her wheels started turning. Okay, let me call a lawyer. Let me exercise my options. And he was very kind of standoffish, where he wasn't helpful physically, because he was saying, I'm not going to write an email. I'm not going to do these things. But that also makes sense, because if he's been rocking with Diddy since 2001, 23 years, he's this man's bestie. After watching all of that, it is disgusting. This just goes to show how powerful Diddy has been over all these years, right? So he's rocking with this person. And then now that he's assailant number 3, I would not be surprised. This is my guess. because Diddy, Harvey Pierre, and him are all listed in the same lawsuit. Diddy may have done one of those things like he did with Shine. Oh, yeah, man. I want you to just corroborate what I said. I'm going to take care of you. I'm going to take care of you. He could have said, I'll take care of your legal fees. I'll do any of that. Oh, we could, you can use one of the lawyers at the firm that I use. Any of that. Because these lawsuits are going to be very expensive to defend as well. And on the defense side, you don't get to defend these on a contingency basis. So I would not be surprised if Diddy reached out to him and said, hey, we're already in this other lawsuit together. Keep your mouth shut. I'll pay for your lawyer. Tell me your thoughts in the chat. Tell me your thoughts in the chat. Because why else would he flip on them? Diddy has something on Assailant number 3, Ricardo, the boyfriend. Remember, Ricardo was a fake name. He has something on him that's keeping this man quiet. We ain't got 400 likes, but we got almost 1,000 people in the chat. So let's hit that. Absolutely. It says he slept with all of Kenya says, he slept with all of Kim's friends and had a dang child with one or two. Stole Kim from Al, on and on. Depending on what you believe, diabolical. I hear you. Yeah, Ricardo's not his real name. That's just where we're using to keep names and people. Can I do a background check on Dr. Umar and these alleged fake boys schools? You know what? I have done one on him before. I'll do it again. Yeah. He had like some debts. He has a cocaine charge. Last I checked, Dr. Umar do a little white girl. So yeah, I can get back to that. Allegedly, I'll double check that, Dr. Umar, because I'm sure you're watching. But overall, with the Thalia Graves case, I want you to know there's so much more than what we see, and it also seems like people are beginning to wonder. I want to hear in the chat. What do you think? Do you think TMZ might be in the pocket of Diddy's lawyers? I think they probably are. I think we wouldn't be surprised if we found a correlation between Harvey Lewin, the executive and founder of TMZ, and someone on the legal team of Diddy's side, whether they went to law school together or played golf together or just butt buddies, because Harvey's very gay too. Maybe they do it to each other. I don't know. But there seems to be a correlation where it seems as though TMZ is getting fed information. Because the thing that really struck me with the text messages is the fact that TMZ, when they ran the article initially talking about the $3 million that was, supposed to be offered to pay him off, they said TMZ has seen the text. Y'all tell me this. When in the hell have you ever seen TMZ say, oh, we saw this? Hell no. TMZ will put that sucker on the screen. TMZ is all about receipts. And this is the one time we don't see a receipt. Why? Because if we had seen that receipt on the screen, we would have had questions. We would have wanted to know, wait, let me see the text above. Let me see the text below. Let me see the entire paragraph, not this excerpt of a sentence. That's what makes me think TMZ is probably getting broken off by Diddy and his legal team. And so I want you to pay close attention to the reporting that we see from TMZ, because whereas generally in any other form of reporting, TMZ is all about the receipts, they just conveniently have not been that way here. Yes. And on that note, we're going to go on to the final case on the docket tonight. Pastor Keion Henderson and his bling, bling, bling church and reputation. Here we go. Pastor Keion. So Pastor Keion is Shawnee O'Neal's new husband. Pastor Keion Henderson has been leading the Lighthouse Church Ministries and Church here in Houston, Texas. He's been leading, he says 15 years, but I could see that with respect to the property they're at now, they've owned it since at least 2019. I'm going to play a